I will call to order the public meeting for the Board of Trustees of the Batavia Public Library for Tuesday, 19th February 2019. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And call the roll, please.
Sure. Blodgett? Here. Galata? Here. Beechman?
Here.
Garrett? Here. Henders?
Here.
McKenzie? Smith? Here.
All right. Any comments from the audience? Seeing no audience, I will move to approve the consent agenda on which we have the minutes from our regular meeting of 15th of January, our closed session for the 15th of January, the expenditure report for January 2019, and the biennial transition meeting order of events, which came out of the Standing Committee on Services. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move.
Thank you, Rich.
Second.
Thank you, Diane. I need a roll call for this, please.
Blodgett? Aye. Galata?
Aye.
Beechman?
Aye.
Garrett? Aye. Henders?
Aye.
Smith? Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Now I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Thank you. Thank you. Second.
I'll second.
All right. All right. This is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Who was the second?
Oh,
Rich.
Joanne was official. He did the first. He
Okay.
tried to
Snuck
move,
in.
but he
I
stuck
do
in the
this a
second.
lot.
Thanks. We will start with our financial reports from January 2019. Hi, Joe.
Good evening. Just a couple of comments. When you look at the revenues through the end of January, the other category has a significant amount in it. It's the $139,000 from Link dissolution, so that kind of distorts it a little bit. The interest is also going to be up dramatically. We'll probably get another 30 grand in that one. It still amazes me. It keeps going up, so that's fine. There are some extra expenses in there related to the activities in the fall, the pieces that were put together, the information pieces, and that's probably going to be about $20,000. But overall, the budget's in very good shape. We'll probably transfer more than the budgeted amount to the special reserve, which was 124. We'll likely transfer, I assume, the Link dissolution payment, and then any other expenses that we track lower, which are likely to be, I think, down a little bit too. So it looks pretty good. So, any questions?
On the second page, it shows a finance report continued, and what you have in your packet is a report that Joe created to show history in the Special Reserve Fund going back several years, current year plus the previous 5. So you can see the kind of expenditures that have come out of this. This is connected to the initiative to create a more of a line item budget for the working for the Special Reserve Fund. So we went back to the records and all the things that have been spent out of over the past 5 years. And the second report that is with that is the one that was created after the capital asset plan was received by the board. There was some work done in the facilities committee to shuffle some things around. And this is more like a line item budget for the Special Reserve Fund, because this shows in the first 3 years the various capital projects that are anticipated in the capital asset plan that would in fact be paid for from the Special Reserve Fund. So we'll be working on this again on the facilities committee level to now that year 1 is gone, and to look at what we're doing in year 2.
We can bring this up in the facilities committee meeting, but this, I think, is the chart where it'd be nice to have added 2 columns that show completed projects and the actual cost, so that,
Right.
that we can be tracking that as we're looking into the future.
What is the significance of the shaded boxes?
Those are things that were, the notes explain those more, but those are things that were deferred or moved around.
From the original.
Right. The far right column shows. So like the asphalt pavement, the arrow actually indicates we moved that project into last year, although it actually was completed in the beginning of this fiscal year. And the actual cost, including consultant fees, was under $200,000, so that was not a bad savings in that budget.
That's why I think it'd be good to have that data,
Right.
so that it can be, just right in front of you.
For tonight, I didn't update the report, but I think that's a great idea because this, we had an existing mechanism that we can adapt and turn it into more of the kind of report the board was requesting. With that kind of detail being added.
I think it's great. This will help us keep track of, have a better understanding and follow where we're spending our money for these projects. Okay, these are the asphalt 153. So we're expecting 265 and it came in, that's right, that's right. I remember that it came in a lot lower than we had budgeted, so that was great. Okay. Does anybody else have questions about this? All right, thanks. I think this will be a good tool moving forward to follow this.
Yeah, then we'll continue to refine that with the suggestions.
Okay, President's report. I guess I don't have anything special to report this evening.
When is the forum again? Is that
Oh,
on the 28th?
that is on the 28th, so that's the League of Women Voters has got that on the 28th. Is it City Hall probably? Yeah, okay, thanks.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7 o'clock, so I will be there.
You can be there.
Excellent. I hope we have a good turnout.
I suspect there will be.
Good, I'm looking forward to a good discussion, so.
The library and the city council and the school board are all be represented.
Right.
So there'll be.
Yeah.
Is there an order? I mean, who will be going?
First,
You're
but I'm
going
not
first?
sure.
If it's the same order that was in the newspaper article, I would say the library is first, but I have not seen it.
When is it?
It's February 28th, Thursday, February 28th at 7 p.m. It's normally a night when the Friends Board meets, but I think since there was an annual meeting here on the 16th, I don't believe they're meeting that night. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Excellent, okay. Good news, comments from the board? Okay, thanks. Correspondence and communication, there's a couple things in here. George was in the, there's an article in here with George, was in the paper regarding the Mark Twain visit in 1869 and the proclamation from the city, calling 2019 the year of Mark Twain in Batavia. And then we've got a write-up in here on the, that was in the newspaper, in the Kane County Chronicle on January 24th on Batavia Public Library's winter program.
We have a column that Pat Leonard does each month that runs in the column I believe it's the last Thursday of the month is
Okay.
based on the date of this one. But so we have this kind of coverage every, we actually get a lot of coverage in the newspapers, but we have our own column.
Thanks.
I think kudos to Pat for the good
Yeah.
job that she does. When I read her column every month. It's very well-written and very full of information.
I'll pass that along.
Let's see. So that's 10, 11 is directors and librarians reports.
Okay, well, busy month and a busy year. Joanne will talk about, or probably Joanne and Stacy both will talk about the Winter Library / Reading Club. I just put a highlight in here about Mark Twain Batavia. Before much longer, we'll have a schedule of events throughout the year. We've been busy pinning down dates and things. We'll have a little something practically every month between now and November inclusive. So stay tuned for some interesting things coming up. Stacy will talk about the new Lyceum lecture, which she told me today is sold out ×2, I think, is about what happened.
Excellent.
Great.
And then the day after tomorrow is volume 14 of Machacacha Night, Batavia. We have 8 very interesting speakers that night. So I know some of you are regular attendees, but if you have a chance, it's a wonderful social event. I mean, it's a real social event, face-to-face, a lot of energy. And if you don't like one talk, it's over in 6 minutes and 40 seconds.
That's great.
Excellent.
So that's pretty much it for me, so I'd be happy to turn it over unless there are questions. I'll be happy to turn it over to Stacy.
We'll talk about
Coming up, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't put them in yet because they have better
Yes,
development.
yeah. These are the lists, yeah.
I was following protocol.
Thank you. Hi, Jan.
Hello. Yes, Winter Library Club is kind of winding down. We have about a week and a half. We have 144 families participating, so if you multiply that by 4 average, we have well over 600 people participating. So it's a great time, and they're enjoying the theme. I love Batavia Public Library and all the little tchotchkes that go with it, the stress balls and the coasters and the bookmarks and things like that. So it's going very well. Our big event, one of our big events was the Science and Art Fair, and I'm going to pass this around. I was promoting it at the last board meeting, and it was held, I think, that following Saturday. And it happened to be one of the Saturdays that wasn't terribly snowy or icy or freezing cold. So we had over 380 people here for that. And it was just a fabulous time and experience. Animals, and this year Jolene added a music component to it. So we had a folk group here where children could experiment with kind of older instruments and then make their own unique instruments out of twigs and bottle caps and boxes and all kinds of things like that. And we had a music teacher here teaching ukulele lessons, and we had art classes. Wow. And as I mentioned in my report, two of the most fun things for kids to see was the huge boa that you'll see in one of the pictures, the snake, and the tan skunk, which
That's a skunk, okay.
was news to everybody that skunks can be tan, but few of them are, and that one was. And it was very friendly, and lots of children held it and had a great time. So it was just a great day.
I take it did not have his glands.
Very tame.
It was very tame, yes. And yes, no, it did not get smelly at all in here. This Saturday is our finale, Ben's Bubble Show, an interactive blend of art and science with a touch of magic and, of course, a lot of big bubbles. So that's great for families to come to this weekend, this Saturday. Amanda, I wanted to it's funny, Joanne, you comment on Pat in promotional services. Amanda hosted a preschool group this afternoon for a tour, and it's a smallish group from one of the local preschools, and they do some behind the things. Their theme, they discuss careers, and so they come to the library to find out what some of the jobs are that people do at the library. And so they go behind the scenes in circulation and find out what the clerks do, checking in and checking out books.
They go down to technical services, some of those jobs that, they know what the librarians do sitting at the desk, but what are some of the other jobs that people did? And so Pat, this was her first year of this group coming through and visiting her, kind of did a very interesting thing all on her own. Circulation had done a little I Spy hunt on things they could look for in the circulation department, but Pat developed a thing in promotional services. She says, we create flyers and posters for programs. So she actually created a little flyer for our upcoming Read Across America, Dr. Seuss's birthday. It's a little program we're having on Saturday, March 2nd at 11 o'clock. We're going to do some stories and some activities. And so Pat put it on a little flyer and did a little coloring page so they could make their own little flyer for our event coming up, our Dr. Seuss Read Across America, and then take it all home and put it on the refrigerator so they didn't forget to come. So, that's just such a nice collaborative effort. We didn't ask her to do something like that, but she thought about a way, how can I explain to children, preschoolers, what I do, making posts of social media. Of course, maybe social media would have been fine, but this we thought was a really nice, unique way for her to kind of explain to young children what promotional services does, and actually got them involved in it. So we thought that was a really fun and cute idea, and we do indeed have so we'll hopefully see some of those children at our Read Across America event. And then I'm also going to pass out, coming up, two things. Read Across America on March 2nd and on March 8th is our annual middle school mystery night. And if you'd like to take a flyer and share it with a middle schooler, I know there are some middle school parents sitting around the table, but our annual middle school mystery night is on Friday, March 8th from 6:30 till 9 o'clock. And we are playing Clue, life-size Clue. We've done that the last few years. And we're using the characters and the locations from the Harry Potter series this year. This is the second year, brand new last year. Amanda is doing an escape room for them to find clues in, and we'll be hiding clues throughout the library. And we enlist the help, of some high school students to help as group leaders, kind of as prefects for the different groups. So that's on March 8th, and we'll start sign up for that this Saturday. And finally, I wanted to just let you know something I did not get to put in my report, but we're very excited about. Born to Read. You maybe have heard me talking about Born to Read in the past. Maybe somebody has gotten a bag. We started Born to Read in 2009. It's hard to believe it will be 10 years already this year. And we've given out over 440 bags to families in Batavia with new babies. And we just recently received a grant from the Batavia Rotary Club for $1,750, which will fund another 50 bags for families. So they were one of our original grants very early on in the program in '09, and as we've given out bags and used up that money, we're going back and looking for more grant money, and the Rotary Club once again has been very generous. So we thank the Rotary for that, and for all the bags we've been able to give away, and it's been a really exciting program, and every bag we give away, the families are so appreciative of the books and the literacy information. And some may say, oh yeah, we're avid readers, but some just like to say, well, thank you. That was a great way to start their home collection, their home book collection. So our thanks to the Batavia Rotary for that gift. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thanks. Hey, Stacy.
Hello. George mentioned that the new Lyceum Lecture Series event scheduled for tomorrow night is filled, which is true. Ryan Dowd will be here to present Homeless Shelter's Gift to the World tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We have a completely full registration list and a waiting list so full we capped it because we no longer could offer hope for making it onto the real list. So we are delighted with that outcome. We look forward to tomorrow night. Next up, Kathy has a handout that she's going to hand out This is our list of top 50 fiction books checked out from the library last year. Astrid Brown put this list together with the help of Stephanie DeYoung from Circulation, who helped us with the report. We heard that such a thing was possible, and so we pulled it out of our circulation statistics. To segue from this list into the tournament of books.
I should mention before you segue that a patron that I know personally just gushed to me about this. And apparently, she's in a book club and various other things, but and you may have seen this, but apparently this has morphed into people who are big book readers, starting to claim, well, gosh, I read, 13 of these last year, or I've got, 4 of these on my nightstand, or things like that. So it's turned into sort of a viral phenomenon, I guess. So
Well, PBS just did the big 100 greatest reads, and so I have on my bookshelf.
Yeah, right.
Going through the 100, so now I have to put the top 50 on there too.
Exactly, no pressure.
Yeah, right.
We posted this on Facebook last week, and
I saw that.
it's been shared many, many, many times. The reach is currently at 5,400 and some. Usually our typical posts reach maybe about 400 people. So we're delighted that so many people are interested to see the list. So the Tournament of Books, which is sort of connected to this, is going to be starting in early March. This is where we do March Madness with books. We pair off books and they go head to head, and we all are encouraged to vote for them. Voting can happen on Facebook. On the library's Facebook page, we'll be posting the daily match. You can also, if you're here in the library, you can vote in person. Facebook is probably the easiest way for most people, since it's a lot of weekdays during March that we're going to be doing the voting. So these are some of the most popular fiction books published in 2018. So you'll see some of the books in the Tournament of Books are also on this list. And if you see some favorites, you're going to want to vote for them. And even if they get knocked out, you can bring them back as a zombie title by nominating them. If you have questions about that, see me. We can talk zombie books. And finally, I wanted to just mention we are underway with the One Book, One Batavia season. We kicked it off with the book discussion last week. We have 7 events coming up. We've put together a great set of programs related to NASA and space. So those are listed in the report. They're also on onebookonebatavia.org, which is the page that we devote to all those activities. I wanted to highlight the author visit. The author will be here 1 month from yesterday, on March 18th. He will be here at 7 o'clock. The event's free of charge. He'll be signing books afterwards. We just ask that people register, which they can do by coming in, calling us, or going to the library website and registering online.
Where will that event take place?
That's going to take place right across the hall in the Founders Room. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Stacy. All right. Item 12 is committee and official representative reports. Facilities did not meet. Finance did meet.
We did. We talked about the new budget after the approval of the referendum and what changes we're going to be making, and we're going to be seeing that based on what we talked about.
In about 2 months,
in April.
The approval process will be like.
So one of the key things that we were able to do with that is increase the collection back up to the standard rate from the state of Illinois rate, even though I think we're going to try to get it even a little higher than the standard, while still keeping that special reserve a lot higher than we've had it in the past as well. So it's all good news.
All right. Any questions? Okay, thanks. Outreach did not meet. Services did meet. We had a couple things on our agenda. We talked about the library director's goals for 2018, which we'll discuss a little bit later. And then the review process for 2018, we've got a different mechanism we're going to do this year and give that a try so we can hopefully get some more appropriate feedback. And then we talked again about the transition meeting, the order of events for the meeting that's coming up. That was on the consent agenda.
In May.
And that'll be the main meeting as we transition to new board members. And that was our meeting. Batavia Public Library Foundation, Dan?
We voted to pay for that babysitter's class we've been paying for and hosting here at the library. And we talked about some they sound really fun fundraisers for Mark Twain. George probably can, I don't know if you want to talk about that or?
Well, I'd rather have signed agreements.
Oh, okay.
I'll see them, but we
Well,
got
some
a couple
possible.
Yeah, really, but I think they will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, they sound really fun.
Okay. Friends of the Batavia Public Library, Joanne?
Friends did meet. They had a book sale last Saturday, and once again, they made $938.
That's great.
Bringing it in. Last Saturday, they had their annual meeting, which was called Hugs and Quiches.
That's cute.
It was a brunch, and it was well attended, and it was a lot of fun. And a new board was elected at that meeting, and there are now 8 board members on the Friends Board. 2 relatively new ones, so that to me shows the health of that organization, not only now but going forward. So.
Good. All right. Thank you. BATV, Rich?
Yes, there was not a meeting in January, but there was a meeting in December, which basically celebrated another successful year for BATV. And there was also the annual budget was passed at that point for BATV. So those were the 2 items.
Okay. Thank you.
If I may, one thing that I had a note to mention, and I mentally blew right past it, the governor signed into law the new minimum wage act today, this afternoon, and so there'll be 7 incremental increases in the minimum wage over the next 6 years until it hits $15 an hour. And of course, the state didn't allow any form of or mechanism for us or any other local government to gain additional revenue to help pay for this. So we'll be taking a hard look at what we need to do to, accommodate that new law over the next 6 years. And our 5 lowest pay grades are below $15 right now, so we've got a little bit of work to do to swing the whole thing up. And at this point, we don't have any goals in place, but services and or finance will be hearing more about this as we move forward. And I asked I asked the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Holly Deachman, this morning what she thought the impact might be on small businesses in Batavia, and she thought it was going to be significant and difficult for a while. So there's several businesses that employ a lot of really part-time people, and she fears for some layoffs and or just a decline in the number of people that are employed from year to year, and that's unfortunate. But I think that's something we're all going to have to look at and address and figure out how we pay for what we can pay for, and that sort of thing. So.
Do we know how many staff are below that first step? I guess that'll be the first thing you look at.
There are, the first step are mainly our library pages, and we currently our minimum wage here is higher than the current state minimum wage, so we don't have a big gap there. We have like a 75-cent difference, I think, right now, so that won't be difficult, but I think it's a matter of avoiding compression as we start to move up the scale. So it'll be a process.
Okay.
So probably only a few employees, really, less than 7, I think.
For the first incremental step, but after that, as the years go forward, we'll have to look at
But
it.
the first step will be in the middle of our fiscal year, January 1st. We'll go up to $9.25.
Okay.
Then it goes up to $10 on July 1st of 2020, and then every January 1st after that, it goes up $1 through 2025. So the first year has 3 steps, which is that's probably the killer move for most organizations. And none of the tax credits that have been incorporated in this bill affect tax-supported institutions because we don't pay tax. So, and those all expire, I think, by 2026 or 27 for the small businesses anyway. So it'll be interesting to see over the next several years the impact on business in Illinois. I'm all for, I think a living wage is very important to it. Somehow we have to find a way to pay for the living wage. So anyway,
Okay.
we'll move forward with that for the following day.
All right. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, item 13 is the library director's goals for 2018-2019. The Services Committee has been working on this for quite a while. We've gone back and forth about how to revise the goals and make them more focused for George versus more general things that we can, the SMART goal standard of being able to have something measurable, achievable, something you can really evaluate honestly for what's being done and not being done. And so we spent quite a few months looking at this. We've had some feedback from others. You've all seen some of this, but after going round and round a little bit, this is what we've come up with for his goals. If I can find this here in my packet. There it is. So we had come up with core competencies and then goals based on those competencies. So during the process, and George has got some more backup than this, but we kind of, we developed some other goals that we're going to wait till for the following years to do, but he had some goals identified. But the competencies were communications, change management and innovation, leads through influence, team leadership and development, plans and acts strategically, and then executes for results. And out of that, we have 8 goals for George for the next year. And then the idea is being at the next evaluation, we would evaluate him for these goals.
One of the goals under plans and acts strategically is around appropriate staffing levels. So I think George's previous comments about the minimum wage increase should go into that, because as part of developing a staffing plan, I think we should have one of those columns to think about the wage increases, and that should go into that. Obviously, we want to see what ideal staffing is, realistic staffing, and then what we can actually, what we can do with that minimum wage. So I think it kind of is a good timing to start doing that.
I think so too. Following this concept, we were really, internally, we're looking at classification and salary study. We've ever only done one, and we thought this, figure out where we should be in terms of staffing levels, and then figure out the pay. But I think obviously that's a nice continuum. But as you say, I think we have an immediate issue that we need to fill in. So thank you.
I have a question on goal D2, and that's the appraisal process.
Okay.
When can we expect to be, that's the 360, right?
Right.
The online.
It'll be coming out in March, April. I don't have a specific date in my head, but I think March, based on the action plan.
We had a date.
Well, in the action plan we did, but that wasn't part of the approval process, but March.
I think, right, because I think that goes in line with the change in the order of the meetings for the May meeting.
Right.
So that
The whole process needs to
the
be
current
completed.
board, who's the one evaluating George's past performance year, regardless of election results, will discuss that, approve that at the May meeting before, right?
We transition.
Before we transition.
Right, the thought being that the current board members are best suited to evaluate George. A couple of years ago, as the new board members come on, we've done the evaluation process right when the new board members get on. And so they haven't had a chance to really evaluate George. And the past old board members sometimes haven't been around and have been able to do the review process. So we wanted to get as much information for the process as possible. So that's why we've kind of reordered that and moved it forward.
So it actually be relatively soon.
Yes.
In fact, I've reached out to my peers and I've gotten feedback, I think, from nearly everyone now, positive in terms of participating.
Yeah. So it'll be a true 360.
Yeah, I think it'll be nice to see how this tool works and
I
hopefully.
would say they ever look forward to it, crazy.
Yeah.
I am really glad the committee took this up because it's something that we've struggled with for a few years, is the mechanisms for this. So I'm grateful to the committee for that. Thank you
Yeah,
for
no,
developing this.
it was an interesting project. I think we all were a little bit out of our comfort zone at first, and it was really great to get some feedback from our professional lives, our personal lives, George's experience, and we all kind of came together to hone in on this, and then to also try to then come up with an entirely new 360 process did seem overwhelming. And so I think when Lisa brought this online tool to us, it just seemed like a good way to have a baseline, get some peer evaluations, get George's appraisal of himself, kind of get that full 360, and then we can take that baseline with the results of that with George's action plans and commentary about these goals, and really have a truly good conversation in May that we all feel like we know what that means, and we're proving something that we all feel like we were a part of.
Yeah, I think this will be good. And I think by laying out the goals this way too, it sets us up for the following years.
Right.
So
we know we kind of, okay, communication wasn't really on the forefront for 2018 and 2019, and then we can think through, do we need to have a goal on communication next year, or as an example.
Does anybody else have any other thoughts or comments about this? We decided that we wanted to put this on the agenda so we'd have a chance to have a conversation, and we wanted to give the board a chance to vote on these goals for George. So I need a, what's that?
It's a voice vote.
Yes, thank goodness he puts these on here for us. So I need a motion then to approve the library director's goals for 2018-2019.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Diane.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thanks.
I'll replace what's on the attachment to the director's report with the new ones and build
With your
back in the action plans and
Okay.
the other elements that the committee has.
In each president's report?
In each director's report.
Director's report, sorry. Great.
Yeah.
Got it.
That way it'll be there every month.
Perfect.
We can track how things are going. Okay, great. Okay, future agenda items, we have a report for that, or the work in progress for the technology plan, the RFID, and then some of the items that will be coming up to our different service or different committees. March meeting, we're going to be looking at the technology plan and the strategic plan, and board education on per capita grants. Is that still going to happen?
Yes, there are a couple elements that need to be acted.
We do those on a regular basis. And then the big thing is on the 2nd of April is the consolidated elections for the municipal. So I hope everybody will take an opportunity to go out and vote that day, or early vote. Okay, next meeting or events, we just kind of ran through some of that. Again, Cha-Cha is Thursday, the 21st. The reading event is March 2nd here for Read Across America, if I have that right. And then our next meeting is March 19th. Are we having, well, you'll set the board meeting schedule up, so, or the committee meetings.
There are at least facilities and services for sure need to be. I need to look at the other. I think at the last finance committee meeting, the committee decided to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not sure about outreach.
Okay.
And if you're not doing anything on Saturday morning, March 16th, the annual trivia bee for literacy. It'll be Florida International, and the library's team will go for a three-peat. So
Oh, right, 2 in a row. Excellent.
we'll knock out one of that.
All right, well, good luck. All right, that's all I have. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Rich.
Second.
Thanks, Kate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, everybody.
7:42.